Once you're logged on to the website as a member of Mailroom staff, you should see a menu pretty much like this. All of these reports work in a fairly similar manner. So if we look at main search, as you can see, it will work much the same as your POD list, much as the same as things that need collecting. They all work in the same way. They're just showing the same data but in a different light. So for example, main search is going to show you all of the items that have been received. Needs collecting is going to show you all the items that are still effective in your mailroom. Your non-delivered list will just show you all the items that still have to be delivered. Things such as your could not deliver list, that will show you your failed delivery attempts, and we'll come on and we'll take a look at that. So the reports all work in the same way. Depending on your level of logon, you might not see management reports and functions. But let me show you how one report works, and then you'll understand how they all work. So let's click on main search. Your main search is the one you'll probably use 99% of the time anyway. And essentially ignore the bit at the top here for the moment and just come into this enter text to search. Now typically you're going to have many thousands of items to look through when somebody asks a query. So let's imagine Simon Smith has phoned and he said, I was expecting something Royal Mail and I'm not sure they got the tracking number right. So can you help me? So if I just type in Simon and Royal, don't want to bother to type any more than that. Can you see very quickly how it filters down and does a cross-column search? If you then say, well, what bit of the, was it this particular tracking number? Oh, yes, it was. You can very quickly locate the item. It might just be that somebody says, I've got a Royal Mail or a tracking number they've given. You don't want to key it all in. She might just type in 295 GB, for example, the last bit of the tracking number, and it will quickly find anything that matches that within the courier thing there. So that's what we call the cross-column search, and most Mailroom users only use that. They don't use anything more than that, and it keeps it nice and simple. Can you see here also that the display gives you all the information you want, and the status field here will show you whether it's been delivered, also whether it's been collected, whether it's been delivered, etc., etc. in there. So let me just do a quick search for Anna for a moment. So Anna said, I was expecting something that's come in for me. Has it arrived? Let's just do a quick search for Anna. So yeah, okay. So what date is it we're looking for? Okay, it was due in today on the 7th of September. Yeah, it's here. It's a parcel. It's not been collected or delivered. It's due for delivery at 5:52. And it came in at 1:52 here. So that's how we can very quickly find that. Let me show you how you go to a tracking report. So let's take a look. We're looking at April Fernandez. Just type April. Now my setting, when I stop typing, it will auto search, and what I want is one for her on Royal Mail. Yep, fantastic. And yeah, I can see it here. But let's say I needed to go a little bit further and say it was came in on 124 GB. Just entering part of it. Can you see there? You don't need to enter the whole of the tracking number. Sure, if you get lots of search results, you might enter more of that tracking number, but it's much quicker to just do a part of it. It's great. When I can see the row I want, I click on it first, and then I click on report. Okay, you can see this report here. And what this does is it takes me to my delivery report, and at the moment I'm just showing the delivered stages only. So as we can see here, what does it show? It was on our 4-hour service. That was the consignment number. It's been delivered. The date and time. There was only one item on that consignment. It came in at 10:56 on the 18th of June. It was delivered on the 19th of June at 1 o'clock. It came in on Royal Mail. That's the Royal Mail tracking number. It came in at the Long Lane Mailroom. This is all fictional data, Chancellor University, and it was going to there. It's a parcel, and because we're just on the show delivery stages only, we're just going to get the delivery stages. You can see here it was signed for by Paula Davis, again a fictional person, and their signature. And I can go to the second page. Obviously there's probably not a lot on there. Oh yeah, we've got failed to complete, so obviously we're unable to deliver, and we took a photograph just to prove it. Apparently it's a locked door, and that's our photograph of the locked door. So that's that one. If we start to go down and look at, say, full tracking data, the report changes slightly in as much as we start looking at more information. And if we go to the second page here, we can see that we can now see when the mail trolley was loaded, we had a failed delivery attempt, we scanned it back to the collection rack, and then we delivered it by hand. So you can see a bit more data. Now, you can print that, so you can go here and click on print. More often than not, you'll probably want to export that, and you can export that to Excel, but more commonly PDF. Okay, and can you now see it here? It's now a PDF file, so you can open that file in PDF. Yeah, and then you can, for example, save that to wherever you want to save it, and then you can email that as an attachment back to the person. So looking again a little bit further on the grids, the other thing worth noting is that the columns here, again, those can be set up to show as little. You basically make columns invisible if you don't need them and things like that, so you get a bit more on your screen. So that's fine. You can also use in-column filters as well. So one of the things with the cross-column filter in here is obviously for every word you're looking for, it's looking across every single column. But it might be, for example, you might have the word hill in a lot of areas, and you're saying, actually no, I want to search for hill but only in address line 1. So if I put in hill in the cross-column search, just for a moment, you can see it finds it both on the company and in the address line. But let's imagine just for the moment that we just want it only to look in this one in address line 1. If we click on the key in that column and it says contains, if I put hill here and hit enter, it's now filtering, it's looking for hill but only on that column there. If I then put in here bag for the moment, because we're looking for Jiffy bag, and hit the enter, we can see only where address line 1 has got hill in it and where contents has the word bag somewhere within it. If I change that by clicking on the key and say it begins with, nothing begins with bag, can you see how the data disappears? Go back to contains. So that's the power of in-column filtering. And basically to remove that filter, just delete the text and hit enter, and the same with this one here, just delete the text and hit enter, and there you go, you're back to where you started from. So you can use the cross-column filter or in-column filtering. You can also use these reports to see, for example, how many items have come in on a particular courier, or how many for a particular person, because you can organize your data in any way you wish. So let me explain that, show that to you. So let's say you want to have this data grouped by the department it's for. If I drag company into this little area here, as I drag it, can you see how those little arrows come up? If I drag it there and release it, it's now grouping the data based on that. So I can see everything in my HR department and who it's for, everything in my IT department is who it's for. And let's say I also want to group that on the person. If I drag the person into the group by area and release there. If I now look in HR department, I can see I've got it by April and by Paula. Now another thing with regards to the data is, let's say I now want to take that data and use that outside of DeliveryPod. What I can do is I can then say I want to export that to Excel and click on export data, and I can see here it's obtained that, and this is my data. And as you can see here, so let me just move that up there, so you can see it's maintained all the grouping that I asked it to do. So you can actually take DeliveryPod data and export that for analysis outside of DeliveryPod. Let's just pull the company name down there, and let's pull the person down to there. The other thing you can do is we can drag columns to be in any order we want them to be, etc, etc. So it's, yeah, very interesting way to use it. Again, when you search, you can simply select someone's. Let's say we're looking something for Spicer Hall. So see Spicer Hall here, and we can say, okay, fantastic. Just select that and then click on report. And that's basically how the reports actually work. So, and then the back arrow to go back. Whenever you're lost, whatever it might be, click on main menu, you'll get back to here. The other reports work in much the same way. So if I go into my manifest reports, I could see what's on a mail trolley or in a particular location. I don't think there's any data there, but we can just have a look. Oh yeah, to the line, we've got a couple of things there in location. So again, you could start to say, okay, let's pull the building to the group by area, the location name to the group by area as well, and release it this time. And then you can start to see this is what's in my infrastructure within the building, and again you can export that to anything you want it to be. So this time I'll export that to PDF, and again we can open that in PDF and you can see the report there. So that's basically the how it all works.